Late summer in Formula One is usually when narratives settle. Titles begin to feel inevitable. Conversations shift from if to when. And in this season, the math looked merciless. Max Verstappen trailed the championship leader by 104 points. That number doesn't inspire belief. It inspires acceptance. Analysts had already moved on. Fans were debating regulation changes and next year's driver market. Even the statistics felt cruel. No driver in modern Formula One had ever overturned a gap like that. The championship, everyone agreed, was finished. Everyone except Max Verstappen. What made the situation even more brutal was context. Verstappen wasn't losing because of mistakes or inconsistency. He was losing because others were simply executing better earlier in the year. McLaren had momentum. Their drivers were calm, confident, and protected by a massive points cushion. This wasn't a collapse waiting to happen. It was control, or at least it looked that way. Verstappen walked into the paddock knowing exactly how this story was supposed to end. And instead of chasing miracles or making bold promises, he did something far more unsettling. He stopped talking about the championship entirely. No interviews about comebacks, no emotional appeals, no pressure statements. His goal quietly shrank from winning the title to something far more dangerous, maximizing every single weekend. When deficits are that large, dreaming big becomes useless. Survival becomes everything. And Verstappen understands something most drivers never fully grasp. Championships aren't always won by spectacular moments. Sometimes they're won by refusing to disappear. What followed wasn't dramatic. There were no instant swings, no miracle Sundays, just a pattern that began to repeat itself quietly. Every time chaos appeared, Verstappen was there. Every time someone faltered, he collected points. Every time rivals blinked, he moved closer. And while the spotlight stayed elsewhere, something uncomfortable started happening beneath the surface. The gap was shrinking. Slowly, quietly, relentlessly. Not fast enough to cause panic, but fast enough to plant doubt. Because when Max Verstappen stops chasing glory and starts hunting margins, history suggests one thing always follows. And the first real crack in the championship didn't come from pressure. It came from a place where leaders are supposed to feel safest. Monza is not a circuit where championship leaders expect surprises. Low drag, straight line speed, minimal tire degradation. It's the kind of weekend where damage limitation is almost guaranteed. McLaren arrived believing exactly that. They didn't need dominance. They needed calm execution. Protect the lead, leave with points, keep Verstappen at arm's length. Instead, everything felt slightly off. Qualifying didn't land cleanly, strategy margins tightened, and suddenly, what was supposed to be a controlled weekend became uncomfortable. That's when Verstappen sensed it. If you're enjoying these deep Formula One breakdowns, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Videos like this take serious research, and subscribing means you won't miss what's coming next. Now back to the topic. Red Bull made a bold call. They trimmed out the car aggressively, sacrificing comfort for straight-line performance. It was risky, on paper, unnecessary. But Verstappen thrives in moments where others hesitate. He didn't need an invitation. Once he gained track position, the race changed shape entirely. Clean air, controlled pace, no mistakes, no emotional driving, just precision. Monza wasn't just a win, it was a message. Because when Verstappen senses uncertainty, he doesn't attack recklessly. He applies pressure in a far more dangerous way. He sits in mirrors, forces teams to question strategy calls, makes drivers brake earlier than planned, defend against moves that never come. By the time rivals realize what's happening, they're no longer dictating the race, they're reacting to him. McLaren still led the championship after Monza, but the illusion of control was gone. They had blinked first, and Verstappen had noticed. From that point onward, the championship didn't collapse all at once. It unraveled slowly, like a thread being pulled, race by race. And the next stop on the calendar turned quiet doubt into genuine unease. Baku exposed something new. McLaren arrived, knowing the margin was shrinking, but still believing they could manage the situation. Instead, qualifying went wrong. Track position vanished. One driver didn't even survive the opening lap. Suddenly, the calm authority of a championship-leading team was replaced by recovery mode. Verstappen didn't overreach. He never does in this phase. He simply delivered what was required. Solid points, clean execution, no mistakes. Every compromised weekend from his rivals became another brick removed from the wall protecting their lead. Then came Singapore, a race that should have been a reset. Instead, it drained belief. Nothing catastrophic happened, but nothing decisive went right either. And those are the most dangerous weekends of all, the ones that don't hurt immediately, but linger. That's when the math changed tone. The gap no longer shouted, it whispered. Every Verstappen podium carried more weight. Every McLaren mistake echoed louder. The season crossed an invisible line, from managed to volatile. Because championships aren't usually lost in dramatic moments. They're lost in sequences like this, quietly, relentlessly, while one driver refuses to go away. And then came a stretch of races that turned pressure into panic. Austin was supposed to steady the ship. Instead, it detonated it. Errors multiplied. Execution slipped. Points were lost where they shouldn't have been. Verstappen didn't force anything. He simply capitalized. Then came Brazil. Red Bull arrived, struggling. The setup was wrong. Grip was inconsistent. Verstappen was eliminated early in qualifying. And then came the puncture. What should have ended his race unlocked a strategy even faster than planned. Verstappen carved through the field with ruthless efficiency. No desperation. No wild moves. Just relentless pace. He finished third, but it didn't feel like third. It felt like a warning. Because when chaos meets Verstappen, even the strongest teams become vulnerable. And the moment McLaren needed calm the most, the pressure flipped completely. Las Vegas was designed to seal the championship. Instead, it imploded. Post-race checks changed everything. Disqualification, 0 points, no recovery. The armor was gone. In Qatar, the damage wasn't mechanical, it was psychological. Conservative calls, missed safety car opportunities, hesitation. While McLaren played defense, Verstappen dictated rhythm. The championship lead still existed, but it was fragile. Because once teams start racing defensively, the fight stops being about speed. It becomes about survival. And Verstappen doesn't chase survivors, which brought the sport to one final, brutal question in Abu Dhabi. The equation was simple. If Norris finished off the podium, Verstappen was champion. From the first lap, Verstappen was flawless. Pole position, perfect start, total control. He led every lap. But championships aren't always decided at the front. Norris drove the race of his life behind him, calm, disciplined, controlled under unbearable pressure. And when the flag fell, Verstappen had done everything right, everything, and it still wasn't enough. 2 points. And that leads to the most painful truth Formula One ever teaches. The numbers will lie. They'll say Norris won by 2 points. They won't show how close the sport came to breaking under pressure. They won't show how a 104-point deficit turned into a title fight at the final race. Verstappen didn't lose because he wasn't good enough. He hunted. He adapted. He delivered under pressure. And sometimes, even perfection runs out of time. Because in Formula One, the cruelest lesson of all is this: you can do everything right and still lose. Before you go, if you want to see the races where Max Verstappen didn't just win, but completely humbled the grid, check out our previous video, Times Max Verstappen Humbled Everyone. That video breaks down the moments where pressure, chaos, and expectations collapsed, and Max stayed in full control. From impossible recovery drives to ice-cold championship wins, it shows why some performances change how drivers are viewed forever.